How's it going, people? Salmon Slapper here, and this is Runescape lore, and we're still focusing on the Mahjarrat today, and this time we're going to be taking a bit of a closer look at Enakhra. Last time we had a look at Akthanikos, and if you've seen it then you'd know that Enakhra is kind of Akthanikos' very old rival, and they've kind of been at each other's throats for the longest time. So, let's get started. Enakhra is a Zamorakian Mahjarrat, and actually is the only known female of the Mahjarrat race that is actually currently alive. Moya, I suppose Moya, arguably you could say she is a Mahjarrat, however she is only half Mahjarrat, half human, so technically not. Although very little is known about Enakhra's origins, she's known to be the rival of Akthanikos, which is a Zarosian Mahjarrat with whom she is feuded with since well before they came to Gillinor. So let's start at the beginning then. In the Second Age, Enakhra had built a temple within the Caridian desert in honour of Zamorak. At the time, Zamorak was actually still a Mahjarrat who conspired against Zaros. According to the legend, Enakhra showed her temple to Zamorak, but he spurned her, claiming that he would rather have a weapon that could kill a god than some temple. It was also in the Second Age that Enakhra was sent on a mission by Zaros, as part of a company consisting also of Zamorak, the elder demon Thamaron, the human warrior Vigora, the archivist Persia, and Zaros' Uspa dancer, Char. A mission which ultimately resulted in the burning of a Fremennik encampment by Char, in a rage at the loss of the rest of her people. Following this event, Enakhra dwelt within her temple for thousands of years and did not come out. Though the last that the humans in the surrounding area learned was that she was thinking of ending her rivalry with Akthanikos. In actuality though, Enakhra managed to trick Akthanikos and led him into her temple. It was then where she cursed him and turned him into a bone guard, a living skeleton, set to guard her in her solitude for the rest of his entire being. In the late Fourth Age, an expedition of knights from Avaran was sent into the desert for unknown reasons, but it is believed they were sent to destroy Enakhra. It may be that at the time of the mission, the Mahjarrat Zamorak had recently enacted his invasion of Avaran, and the populace of the city were more afraid of attacks. The expedition, as you would expect, was a complete disaster, and all the knights were killed by the bitter Enakhra, with, surprisingly enough, the exception of one, Pentin, which was said to have been doomed to be trapped in an ancient spell that preserved his life, but kept him cold, miserable, and diseased, in a perpetual state of life and death. In recent times though, taking place during the quest of Enakhra's lament, a Zamorakian mage named Lazim delved into the desert where he knew the temple was said to have been, and in turn he enlisted the help of an adventurer to uncover it. The adventurer then was actually able to free Akthanikos, and he and Enakhra vowed to continue their long drawn-out rivalry in the north, where the ritual of rejuvenation was said to shortly take place. During the negotiations of the 18th ritual of rejuvenation, of who would be sacrificed during the ritual, Enakhra repeatedly suggested that her old rival Akthanikos should be the one to be sacrificed. However, her suggestions were constantly ignored by Zamorak and Lucian. During the fight between the Zarosian and the Zamorakian Mahjarrat, Enakhra decides to fight Akthanikos, to no surprise, but does poorly and is almost beaten before all the Mahjarrat decide to turn on Lucian and fight him instead. However, Jalan is ultimately sacrificed, and all the Mahjarrat once more regain their powers. It's also known that the faces of the Mahjarrat also change from kind of a look of a lich, or their skeletal form, into their more human-like form. After witnessing Lucian's death at the hands of the Dragonkin though, Enakhra, out of sheer fear, teleports away as quickly as possible. It's believed at this point she must have gone back to her temple and went back into hibernation, as nothing was really heard about or known about of Enakhra's doings in this time. However, the next time we would come across Enakhra would be at the death of Guthix. It's known that Enakhra decided to attack one of Guthix's supply rooms. The player may send a specific person or group to take on Enakhra, and in here she is accompanied by many mages of Zamorak and dark wizards, who are sent to dealt with the specific person or group the player sends to combat her minions, while she and the player clash violently. During this fight, she is level 140 and has a massive number of HP. However, we do find out about Enakhra's unique moves, both of which siphon the player's life, in turn to heal herself. As you know, many Mahjarrat have their own specific spells, but not many are known. But we do know of this one. After the assassination attempt at Guthix and the successful attack by Sliske, which in turn kills Guthix, again the Mahjarrat and many of the minions who were present that day are teleported away or simply decide to leave, and aren't actually heard of for quite a while. However, the next time we would find out about Enakhra and finally see her once more was at Sliske's Grand Ascendancy. When the adventurer and Athlarin are teleported to the Empyrean Citadel, Zamorak and Mahjarrat Enakhra, Zamorak and General Gazard can be seen outside the door. Additionally, you can also see the Zerosians, Akthanikos, Azanadra and Wahasiatul, as well as the Barrows brothers and the generals and sub-commanders of many of the gods. But they're all awaiting entry. Enakhra, if you decided to talk to her, says that they disagree entirely with Sliske's ascension into godhood. This is likely because Sliske, for the longest time, has always been associated with being a follower of Zaros, and Enakhra being a follower of Zamorak would obviously not want a Zerosian follower to be gained that much powerful. Enakhra claims that he cannot become a god without their consent, so they have come to stop him. However, it is likely simply the fact that they fear Zaros gaining more and more powerful, as they are all expecting Zaros to once again return now that the edicts of Guthix have been broken. Now here's a little interesting fact about Enakhra and kind of a relationship with Zamorak. As we know, Enakhra is the only female Mahjarrat that we know of that is actually alive, and in turn it is hinted strongly that Enakhra has an unrequited love for Zamorak, the god of chaos, which would explain why she is an avid follower of his. It's first kind of explained briefly by Aristarchus, a Menethite scholar who specialises in desert lore, and you can find this out during the quest The Curse of Arav in Zamorak's fortress. In the north at Zamorak's fortress, you can find several documents, and they are labelled Notes A to J and Notes K to Z, and these are believed to be written by Zamorak, and detailing all of the known Mahjarrat to have come to Gielinor. According to Zamorak, he wanted her help to save the Mahjarrat race, but she refused, claiming that she had, and I quote, feelings for Zamorak. Which, obviously, being a Mahjarrat, Zamorak simply could not understand this way of thinking. Additionally, in the postbag from the Hedge, in issue number 43, Enakhra answers a letter asking about her life, and the life of Ivan and her home realm for Sliske, and in turn she replies thusly: "Ah, for Sliske, an ash-covered smog and lava-filled delight. You humans would consider it desolate and harsh, a deathly place. To my Mahjarrat eyes, however, there is wonder there. For us Mahjarrat, life can come from death as easily as death from life. And that is why we chose to follow Avaran, and in turn follow Zaros. Though I spit as I say his name. And my greatest love, Zamorak." So, she mentions that Zamorak is her greatest love, and also that she must have a love for Ivan, because he is not a son of Zamorak, in your narrow literal sense, but he is imbued with my lord's unholy power, sweet with corruption. Additionally, in the World Wakes, she serves for the glory of Zamorak, and when she is defeated, she will admit defeat and retreat, as she feels she has shamed herself in the name of Zamorak. So there's a number of references that kind of refer to the fact that, indeed, Enakhra may very well have an unrequited love for Zamorak, as well as one Ivan. So with that said, that's pretty much it on Enakhra. But there is one other, I suppose, not majorly, but maybe you haven't noticed it, maybe you have. If you were to turn Enakhra's name backwards, it technically spells arcane, which, as you know, the Mahjarrat were kind of the founders of arcane magic, or ancient magic I should say. And it kind of ties in quite nicely the fact that the vast majority of Mahjarrat are immensely powerful mages and focus mostly on that. So there we go, that is all the information we have on Enakhra. It's not a massive amount, but you can meet her within Enakhra's Lament, as well as the Ritual of Mahjarrat quest, within Enakhra's temple itself, and the ritual site. You also do catch a glimpse within the death of Guthix in the World Wakes, and you see her once more in Missing Presumed Death. So she is one of the Mahjarrat you do tend to see more of compared to others. And being the only female Mahjarrat is quite interesting to see what she will do in the future. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this lore, and until next time people, I will catch you later. Have a good one.